Spook.
Yes.
Why are we handballing a football back and forth?
Just to prove that it can be done.
Ain't that fucking hard, Collingwood.
That's right. I'm not even looking. Side bottom?
Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I am Sly.
And I am 4 points is 4 points Spook.
Well, that's all we got in terms of behinds. 4 points. Spook, what do you think about the win over the Western Bulldogs?
Something smells like shit in here.
Not just in here. Was this the worst game you've seen for 2 weeks?
Yes.
Alright, you know what actually amazes me? Nathan Buckley in the press conference said that's the worst we've played for a while. Nathan is about the worst we've played for about 3 weeks. And before that 3 weeks is the worst we've played for 4 weeks.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
There are games in the last 6 to 8 weeks where we've played Bulldogs, Sydney, St Kilda, Fremantle, Carlton, which you would have thought should have been all...
Because they're top 8 sides.
Yeah, because they're not having great years. I mean, they are coming up and all that sort of shit, but you would have thought they should be relatively comfortable wins. We have struggled in all of them, except for a little burst, which has put us in front in all but one game against Fremantle. Fremantle beat us. This game was endemic of what's been going on for about 8 weeks. Firstly, just static. No one was moving. Everyone was just standing, trying to handball the ball around.
It's because we're coming off the bye.
It is not because we're coming off the bye. That couldn't have been the excuse for the last 5 weeks prior to the bye.
Well, I'm going to try it a few more times until I convince myself.
I think you're going to have to try it a few more times than that. Really static. Handballs. Apparently, that is not a big enough target.
Well,
you have a 6-foot player.
I'm trying to dive.
You have a 6-foot player in front of you, and you cannot handball it in his, torso range.
Well, you see, it's because they're rusty after coming off the bye.
I still think the bye is not an excuse.
Oh.
How fucking hard is it to hit a teammate with a handball? And why do some players handball like they're trying to decapitate someone? They fire the handball with such velocity, you think, well, even if it does go to their torso, you just fucking making it impossible for them to take and run on. Skills, shit. Kicking.
Skills were terrible. But you know what? I've got a theory about this.
With the bye?
It's coming off the bye.
It's not coming off the bye. This has been a problem for about 8 weeks. And actually,
The bye?
Yes, the bye has been a problem. And I actually want people to fucking realise one thing here, because I'm actually pissed off with this.
You're in dictatorial mode.
Yeah. People go, it hasn't been great 8 weeks. This is pretty much the way Collingwood were playing under Buckley from about 15, 16, 17. Very static, lots of skill errors, lots of good play undone. The difference now is guys like Maynard and DeGoey and all those sort of guys have got like 40, 50 games under their belt, so they're better players than they were those years when they were inexperienced. So what you're getting is more experienced players able to win contests they probably weren't winning 2 to 3 years ago. This is a fucking big problem in the side. That static way they just sit there waiting for someone to get a handball out to someone on the outside so they can run free. But even when they get the handball, there was one Navarco in, I think, the last quarter. He was 10 metres clear of the pack and he handballed back through the pack to get to someone. And I understand that's part of the game. It's a high-risk game to break it open. But seriously, it's fucking annoying me because last year and this year, the only times we've looked good with the Richmond game accepted, the only times we've looked good is when we've taken the game on and we've run. The Richmond game was different. We did the chippy little shit, but Richmond was stupid enough to actually drop back and not put pressure on the guys kicking or the targets we're kicking to. Everyone else has just sort of come in, they've denied us our run, and we've tried to chip our way around, as we did in 2015, 16, 17, and then it comes undone with some shit skill error because you don't have players of elite disposal like Buckley himself had. How many elite disposalists do we have in that side?
72.
How many elite disposalists do we have in that side when you're awake?
Maybe 2 or 3.
I wouldn't even go that fucking far. I think we have some elite decision makers like Pendlebury is generally an elite decision maker. Of the skills, I really wouldn't put money on a single player there to pick a teammate out between two opponents from about 40 metres out. They just worry him with their kick, and that's fine. Not everyone's going to have those surgical Hawthorn skills, but then why are you playing this game style which is contrary to the players on your list? Surely we should fucking just be running the ball. And one of the problems here, to me, is they've just set it up all wrong. I mean, the Beams acquisition was wrong. They didn't need another mid-paced inside midfielder. They needed someone on the outside. Not being able to get Sire in there and Adams being out has really hurt them because guys like Pendlebury and Treloar have been drawn in. Treloar, you spent 2 pick 7s on him and you've turned him into Shane O'Brien. He's just inside, no disrespect to Shane O'Brien, but Treloar came to us with a reputation of being quick, being a runner, being a line breaker. How fucking often do you see him do that?
Well, not since he had his legs torn apart.
But he's never on the outside. He's always on the inside with these handballs that he fires out, again, trying to decapitate people.
That's definitely the Adams missing factor.
Yeah. And then you go to the second half, and that started to change up the dynamic. And why did it change up? And if you actually get back to the one thing with Buckley saying you gave him a bake.
Was it the bye?
The bye of the half-time break, you fucking had, from half-time onward, Grundy got challenged by Buckley, and Grundy said, "No, fuck it, I keep putting the ball down these midfielders' throats, and they just stand there like statues."
You mean the opposition midfielders?
He's just putting it down. Our midfielders never moving. I mean, watch the best midfielders in the league, like Paddy Cripps and that. They're always moving. Fucking Bontempelli won all these clearances because he was on the move. But our players...
It's the seagull scene from the club.
And what changed was, there was a lot of times Grundy just said, fuck it, I'm not even going to rely on you players, I'm just going to take it myself. And the guy who started moving was Callum Brown. Had a really poor first half, he wasn't alone, but he started running, and as we've always said about it, he tries to create. He tries to open it up. And the moment he breaks open zones, that throws opposition into disarray, then players around him start to run and present options. Buckley and the coaching staff have to fucking structure his side in a way that you're going to get running. You do not have the skills to play this chipping game you've done for fucking 5 years. It didn't work. Last year when you were playing good, you played fucking good because you ran. You took the game on. You fucking should have won the grand final, but you decided to stop from the first quarter and go to this more static game. It's only paid off once against Richmond, and I doubt they'll be that stupid the next time around.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, though, comes back to that again. Teams that flood back against us, deny us the run, we still haven't worked out how to have a secondary plan of attack or a plan B or a plan C in that respect. And I think in that respect, we're getting very easy to work out.
But the thing there is...
If the shit sides are doing it, what are the good sides going to do?
But the thing is there, in all those games, so St Kilda, Bulldogs, Carlton, Sydney, we had a burst. So at one stage we started getting the formula right.
Burst. And
we start running. Buckley said he gave him a huge bake at halftime, and this is my fucking concern.
Brownies or
a bake of shit, because that's what they were playing like. And to me, all the wins we've had have really been the result of a couple of individuals just standing up. Usually it's been Grundy. Grundy's been the one who's just started dominating in the ruck, and then you get the goey, maybe kicking goals or whatever. You're not getting like an even spread of teamwork. It's just really effort-based, which they've always played for Buckley. They've always shown they fucking try for Buckley. But with the personnel that you have now and the experience they should have playing together, surely we should have a lot better system moving the ball. I'm fucking getting a little sick of the last month of how popularly it's returned when the opposition get out the back and then there's no one within 70 metres of them running into an open goal. That's fucking amateur hour, and you're meant to be like a premiership favourite. There's no way you'll get anywhere near a premiership playing this shit brand. And it's about time it starts getting called. People go, oh, you're being negative and all that sort of stuff. It's really been shit football for the last 6-7 weeks. And this running around, oh, we're not playing our brand, we're not getting it right, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. Well, you've had 14 weeks now. Surely at some point you're going to fucking get it right.
Yeah, I have a concern in this respect too. And it's look, the buy thing is a small get out of jail free, I think. The sides this round coming off the buy haven't performed particularly well. Unless you've done some research to tell me otherwise, but because we don't do any research, I'm pretty confident.
Why would we do research?
But I think it's a mindset thing now that I think Buckley said that the players were pretty down on themselves after the game.
You're not the only ones.
You could clearly see that they were upset afterwards when they did the interviews and that. You wonder how much of that is now sort of pervading that mental space about, well, are we really that good? Are we going to start self-doubting at this point? Are we going to start getting worse? We're not really playing a brand of football at the moment that gives you a lot of confidence that it's going to stand up against the better sides at the top of the ladder. Now, they must be aware of that too. Now, if you start believing in a negative light that this is going to be a bad thing moving forward, we'll make it happen. That's the bit that's concerning me is we just need that moment to sort of remind them that they can be good and could be good for 4 quarters.
One of my problems here also is...
Hackney?
No, I'm not. I won't actually make that slight. One of my problems here is... Alright, fine, the players might have self-doubt and that, but the coaching staff, to me, doesn't seem to be doing anything to try and fix this. Now, Ben Reid was really good, I thought. But I wouldn't have been playing free tools. And I don't know how they're going to work that, or if that's going to work long term. The amount of times the ball just rebounded out of that forward 50, our forward 50, was just ridiculous. The moment, if someone did a mark, it was just bang, it went straight out. And a lot of times it went straight out and over our zone from half forward to midfield, and then Bulldogs were just out clear. So, 1, I don't think you have the team set up right. 2, Levi Greenwood's been really good as an attacking half-back. Anytime he gets dragged to full back, it is a fucking petrifying experience.
Yeah, and I think, that's where the Dogs did sort of suss this well. Is I think they isolated Greenwood a couple of times. They isolated Main down there. They pulled Ruffy and then Moot out of the back line, and that's where a lot of their goals come from at the start of that game. I think they tactically played that as well in that respect.
So I think
credit to them.
Yeah, credit to them. But I don't think Buckley should be allowing that to happen. You shouldn't be allowing...
Should he run out there and tell them?
I think what they should be doing is saying to Maynard or Chris, if one of these guys goes to full back, you're going with them because you're quicker, you can attack the ball stronger. Greenwood, I think, is really good when he's running at the ball. When he's actually having to be anchored there playing man-on-man, I really worry. He doesn't seem to have great man-on-man skills. That's fine because that's not been his forte for his career.
Not that deep either.
Yeah, and so for me, you've got to change those sort of matchups around. I mean, I recall about 28 years ago when Buckley was a player, we're playing North, and Lee Matthews allowed Buckley to get dragged to full back. And the commentators are just laughing, going, well, you've got to get him out of there. The coaching staff's got to be smart enough to say, okay, they've now actually negated one of our best forms of attack, or they've exposed the weakness. I need to change that up now and put the onus back on them. Greenwood should never be at fullback. Main should never be at fullback. The way we were set up there was just fucking ludicrous.
And even like Aish was caught out there once or twice too as well. Not a great one-on-one defender, and they got caught out every time.
I would rather they just did something like said to Moore, you drop back, you leave him. If your man's going to run the half forward, fuck it, he can take a mark there.
I can't tell who Moore is anymore.
Yeah. But if your player's going to run the half forward wing, let him take a mark out there, or, let's just get one of the fucking mids. Get Pendlebury to man up your guy if he's running down there or whatever. You just drop into the hole and block him up. They got to just do something, because it's seriously amateur out, and I've been watching it for like the last 4 games where once they get out the back, that's it. It's just uncontested. We're doing that for about 3 years under Buckley, and that was fine when the team was, developing and gaining experience and knitting together. But now that they're fucking still doing it, it's seriously galling to watch. And to me, I was really getting the sense that once the Bulldogs on the ball around half back and they did a kick out of congestion, that was it. There was no one anywhere near then that was going to stop them having an unimpeded run to goal.
No, that was a concern. But as Bucks did concede that they are well known for doing that, so I guess in that respect they're playing to their strength. We just failed to sort of recognise it and do anything about it.
We're really lucky though inaccurate. So they kicked 10-13 to our 13-4. They dominated patches of the game. There was periods there where and this has happened again in the last 8 weeks, where we just looked like we could not score. Happened against Fremantle, happened against Sydney. Like it wasn't just them sort of being better than us. They dominated us to the point we had nothing to offer, and then we slowly had to drag ourselves back into the game.
Because we kicked 4 goals in that patch in the middle of the first. We scored 1 at the tail end of the, but up to that point we scored it behind. I think the Dogs had only scored 3 as well.
They missed a lot. They were really inaccurate.
It was a bit of an arm wrestle there, but it's because of the bye.
I mean, Buckley said, that's clearly the worst we've played for a long time. It's not representative of our year. I think you're actually wrong. It's representative of about half of your year.
That was an ironical statement.
We didn't go anywhere near the way we wanted to play. Well, fuck, that's genius, you know. I'm glad that we realised that. I followed Collingwood for about over 40 years.
Can you condense that into 3 minutes?
Yep. Even when they were having shit years, I could watch them. Now they're second, and I'm struggling at times to just watch them.
You're just old and jaded now, though.
I am old and jaded. It's really appalling. I think my biggest problem is it's the same things keep happening. Can we address it? You know, instead of like actually just going, oh, we're not playing our brand, we'll work on that and blah blah. It's like, all right, well, they're the words. Like fucking, you know, John Wayne said, you just talk the talk, you walk the walk. We're doing a lot of talking. But I'm actually really now looking at them and thinking there's some cracks appearing, which they need to fucking address. They need to set up the dynamics of their midfield differently. Sidebottom is a really hard runner. He does nothing in the midfield.
He butchers the ball a lot.
He kicked it on the full 3 times. He kicked a lot of dribblers inside 50. But I'm sure people will tell me he had a great game. Pendlebury was really quiet. He's down about 60%. Sire was only about a 40% disposal efficiency. A few of his kicks were Shanks. I mean, we shouldn't be picking out single players for Shanks because a lot of them did it. H kicked it a few times like the ball was flat.
Treloar did as well, but he does that a bit.
Yeah. And, I mean, the guy... I remember Callum Brown was about 33% disposal efficiency in the first half, and I thought, oh, okay. And he worked his way up to 70% by the end of the game. And he was the one who really got us going. I felt him and Grundy.
Yeah.
And the thing with Callum Brown was on about 20 games.
Yeah, but you got that now. Probably not even that, maybe.
You got fucking Pendlebury's on about 280 games. Treloar's on 150. You know, Sidebottom is on 200 games and all that sort of stuff. And this is the guy you're relying on, Callum Brown, which, you know, all kudos to Callum Brown.
Cannon Brown.
Yeah. This is the guy who has to pick you up. I mean, Sidebottom learned to fucking shake a tag, maybe. You know.
I don't think he was tagged, though, this game. He had plenty of opportunity
he wasn't tagged.
to run, but he just burnt it.
But in general, they take him out of the game, and it's just too easy to shut him out of the game. Pendlebury has been pretty quiet for about the last month after he was getting raves. Treloar's getting numbers, but are they damaging?
No. What do you end up with, about 400 possessions on the weekend?
And, I think it's about...
Can you name one of them?
Bob.
Yeah, good.
I think he was about 68% disposal efficiency. It really was. Grundy was brilliant in the second half. Callum Brown was really good. Reid was good for 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. I thought Chris did a little bit.
Ruffy was good.
Roughhead was really solid down back. I thought Moore was lost without his blonde hair.
Yeah, no, it was hard to pick.
Yeah.
I think that was a tactic of his. He knew he was going to fade this year. I'll get rid of the blonde hair.
Mychek did a lot of hard running. I thought he popped up.
I think he gets undervalued in that area because, you know, he may not kick goals or whatever it is that he's meant to be doing, but he does go deep up the opposite end, and he does do a lot of creative stuff to get the ball back down. A lot of it's an unsung hero, I was going to say, but maybe moment.
Hoskinello again, quietish. Josh Thomas, quietish. Did a few things. Varco sort of worked his way into it, but I mean, still, man, how many goals have you kicked? You're a forward. You need to be kicking goals.
No, he's still running around like an erratic pinball. He's like multiplayer, multi-ball.
It did a few beautiful scoops and, you know, pickups and handballs and that, but again, you're there as a forward. Principally, that's what you need to do. I understand there's defensive forwards now and they're more meant to defend the ball from coming out, but you know what? Best way of defending the ball coming out, the best way to worry your opponent into being accountable is kick a fucking goal.
Yeah.
The goalie didn't do a lot, but when he did something, it was brilliant.
It's magical.
Yeah. So again, it's just a few individual efforts that's picked them up and hauled them over the line, and they need to work this out because the other problem, I think, under Buckley's stewardship, and you can vouch for how much I've actually defended Buckley over the last 7 years.
Yeah, not at all.
You keep having these effort-based wins. You just work as hard as possible, and then you win it. And it's like, that's not going to work against every team.
It ain't going to work in finals.
Yeah, you know. And if you really think that applying pressure to like a West Coast or Geelong is going to break them open, you're probably going to be wrong. You're beating teams like St Kilda and Carlton who have young, vulnerable players who don't understand unrelenting pressure. Geelong, West Coast are just going to absorb. I mean, West Coast did it. They absorbed us and then just beat us by 4 goals. It's not fucking going to work. We really need to start playing smarter. Final thoughts about this. I mean, let me just say with Grundy, 25 disposals, 68% efficiency, 50 hit-outs, 17 to advantage, 8 marks, 3 contested, 4 tackles, 2 goals, including a vital goal, or 2 vital goals really, but that last off from 50 was a beautiful kick to...
No, it was. No, he won us the game.
Yeah, and even when I thought, okay, we should be comfortable and then I can just relax the next 4 minutes, or the last 4 minutes, we're still almost, I
was shitting bricks with about 40 seconds to go when they kicked that goal.
Oh, they went down. I remember my check did a
9
spoil.
points. Yeah.
Last thoughts.
Beer's good. Look, it's another example of playing shit for a game, and we still walked away with the 4 points. You can't bank on that happening forever. No. It is time to start building some reverse of momentum into a positive direction, unifying and starting to get yourself set for finals. Otherwise, we're going to exit quicker than me and him in a DC movie.
Why did you say my name? We'll be back with Medium Acidic.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Medium Acidic. Has anything dominated the news in the last week?
What's Robbo done?
Jaden Stevenson.
Are we talking about that? Isn't that done and done?
We'll talk about it really quickly.
Alright, let's make this quick.
Tony Shaw on Twitter, 10 weeks of stupidity. Does anybody think the penalty doesn't fit the crime? I don't know if you'd get 10 weeks for a king hit. We don't want players' teams getting slings to throw games, so we have gambling rules, but 10 weeks for a 36 multi and a lot of question marks. Luke Ablett. The AFL bankrolls itself in gambling money and advertising, then is upset when that advertising works on one of its employees. What fucking hypocrites. Even Nathan Buckley there's a bit of irony in penalising someone for gambling but then receiving money for it. The AFL has a commercial agreement for the bookmaker Bet Easy. The AFL's website features ads for gambling odds and contains a weekly video segment discussing odds on games. The irony is being critical of the actions but having it splashed everywhere. I was watching Fox Footy's AFL 360 last night. I think I had to sit through 3 or 4 different gambling ads. How many fucking people have actually come out and criticised this penalty?
I think everybody.
Not everyone. People like Del Santo and, a few players are going, well, yeah, that's about right.
He's a professional knob, though.
He's becoming one. You look at people who have done, one of the fucking criticisms of Stevenson is, he should know the rules. They've been, told enough you can't gamble. Players are told you can't fucking hit one another, but they still strike one another. I'm pretty sure Andrew Gaff almost decapitated Andrew Brayshaw. That was 8 weeks. It was 1/3 as bad as...
That's the thing. I mean, you put that into context of that. His king hit Brayshaw off the ball. He's dislodged his jaw, knocked 3 of his teeth out. Brayshaw's had to eat fucking soup for about 3 months.
And who knows how that's scarred him psychologically.
You get 8 weeks for that, and somehow this is worse.
And as you said, if...
Kings of hypocrisy.
If Gaff had done that in a pub, you'd probably get 18 months.
Well, it's grievous bodily harm. You face a lengthy prison sentence. But somehow the AFL thinks this is okay to do as long as you have a little bit of a penalty around it.
Yep.
But then do something like stupidity, place of bets. Look, none of this is about exonerating Stevenson.
No, he was
dumb
stupid,
with what he did.
But it's about
he deserved some sort of whack. But a whole year for that?
And there's other ones too. Clubs are told don't tank. Everyone fucking tanks. That's the system. Melbourne was proven to tank, and what did the AFL do? Nothing.
And that's, in essence, manipulating the outcome of the betting.
And the other thing too, with them tanking, is that actually has wide-reaching implications. Imagine think about the teams who got to play Melbourne twice. That actually shapes the ladder because of the way they've tanked. It shapes future fortunes because they then have access to players in the draft that other players now, other clubs don't have access to. Clubs, it's not even a fucking AFL rule, it's a global rule. You cannot use performance-enhancing supplements. Essendon did it. They were caught out, they fucking blocked the AFL at every turn. The AFL didn't even investigate it too seriously, and at the end of it all, the AFL said, nothing to see here.
No,
it took WADA to fucking jump in, and then the AFL just keep your top-up players and you have number 1 draft pick. These are all different things where there's rules in place where you can't do these things. The AFL did not go hard on any of them.
I think one of the more comedic elements of this is if I go and snort cocaine on the weekend. Last time I looked is an illicit substance. It's against the law to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if I go and snort cocaine on the weekend, ring up the AFL on the Monday, say I'm self-reporting, I took drugs, they go, thanks for telling me.
Yep.
They protect your name. The club doesn't even get told of this. Stevenson self-reports, gets smacked like there's no tomorrow. A year is taken away. Obviously, a lot of it was suspended. But still, the lesson here is don't
deny
self-support.
everything.
Oh, self-support. Self-report.
Don't self-support.
Just lie. You'll get away with it.
Yep. And
Perfect.
if you actually look
Or
at
take drugs.
Yep.
Or smack someone while you're taking drugs.
The fucking thing, I think, if you look at the examples I've cited, for the AFL, it's all about brand protection.
Oh, it is. It's a commercial interest and
so
more important.
Gaff hits someone and he gets 8 weeks. He should have got like 36 weeks. But you know why they wouldn't give him 36 weeks?
Because we're not sponsored by a boxing company?
No, because they don't want the Auskick parents to go, oh, did you see that player got like 30 weeks for hitting someone? I don't want my kids playing that sport. That's too vicious. You can't fucking admit that a club tanked because that affects your social systems and the way the infrastructure sustains drafts and all that sort of shit. So you can't admit that. That's brand protection. You can't admit that one of your oldest, most powerful clubs had a doping scandal and people go, well, Essendon wasn't convicted of actually taking anything. It's like, well, they don't fucking know because they hit everything and they can't actually admit. So that's probably worse than actually saying, yeah, we took this. We don't know what we fucking took. But the AFL can't admit there was a doping scandal because, again, that would affect their brand. But the one thing they can fucking say is, oh, he gambled. We don't want it to be seen that there might be match fixing or gambling or anything like that in the league. So we can whack him hard. We'll let all these other people like Gaff and Essendon and Melbourne off because admitting they were guilty would make our brand look fucking shit. Whacking Stevenson for a long penalty makes our brand look strong. And it's piss weak because the other thing, as it's fucking everyone's saying, as we said immediately, is you just... pervasive gambling ads everywhere. You're normalising gambling for the next generations of supporters.
You've got kids pointing out what the odds are during the break and talking the bet talk when they're about 12 years old.
Well, I remember I only got introduced to gambling when I was hanging out with people when I was like...
Squizzy Taylor?
Yeah, he was one of them. When when I was 18...
Fats Domino?
No, he wasn't.
Fats, who's the guy
when I was
the billiard movie? Fats Paul
Minnesota
Weller?
Fats.
That's him.
When I was a teen and fucking hanging out with other people
do
again.
Some research.
Yeah. That's when I got introduced to gambling. I knew nothing about fucking what people, but it was like, yeah, here you have $10, whatever, that you just, for the fun of it, which is basically what Stevenson's done. Now you're having gambling on results, on margins, on
presidential elections.
First goal, on Brownlows, on premiers, on first coach sacked, on wooden spooners. You've normalised to such an extent that you're actually indoctrinating kids of tomorrow and the day after to become fucking gamblers and to see that behaviour as normal. But AFL will never admit it.
I can't have this because at the very end they tell me to bet responsibly.
And it's like, I fucking look at Nathan Brown going, and if your team's leading at the end of the first quarter, you get your money back or some shit. It's like,
it's risk-free!
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's risk-free! Who could lose in this?
That's what fucking people are thinking. Now, you've made it so enticing, it seems like there's no risk to it. It seems there's no penalty to fucking losing. And the thing with Stevenson, as Nathan Buckley said, if you didn't self-report, no one ever would have known. And you whack
I wouldn't have known.
You whack him for fucking 22 weeks, and people will go, but he could have influenced the outcome of those bets, which is proven he didn't because he didn't win any of them.
He's a Collingwood player.
But the fucking thing is, like, which ones could he influence? Like, obviously he could influence margin if he had the last kick of the game, and the margin was, the kick could have decided the margin. He couldn't fucking decide the margin for 100 minutes.
Hang on a second though. I did say that Robbo wanted that torpedo.
No, we're going to go to that. We're going to go.
Sorry. Yeah. What's the odds of me actually saying that ahead of schedule?
Yeah. They say,
what are they?
He bet on a certain amount of possessions a teammate would get. How do you control that? The teammate has 16 other teammates out there. He could get the fucking ball himself. He has 18 opponents. He could intercept the ball. And to actually think that a player could actually count a teammate's possessions during the game. I mean, what happens when fucking they're out of sight of each other? If one's knocked over and, doesn't see someone feed a handball out. How the fuck can you count possessions? The only one Stevenson probably really had some control over was goals kicked. If he bet like he'd kick free or something and he was already on free and he just started spraying it or whatever. But at Collingwood, if you were spraying it, that's probably fucking normal. You'd probably be checking if something's wrong if they're kicking accurately. But they actually look at this and go, but he could have influenced the outcome of these fucking things. It's like, well, it's proven he didn't. So what the fuck is this heavy-handed penalty? It's just absurd. And seriously, the AFL is it's a shit organisation that decides when it's going to go hard, when it suits them, and when they're going to go easy, like the Essendon, Melbourne, Gaff things, where I think all three of those things are much worse than Stevenson. And I fucking admit, I acknowledge Stevenson's guilty. He's stupid for doing it. fine. But for his penalty to be 22 weeks, and for those penalties to be Gaff was 8, Melbourne suffered nothing. Essendon to get a year out because of WADA, not because of the AFL.
And their reward was a first round pick.
Yeah. And people go, oh, but that's like if they had injuries. It's like, well, no, if they had injuries, that's misfortune. The doping scandal is by design. Not the players' fault, obviously the people in charge, but still, you're getting rewarded for it. It's fucking ridiculous. And then you get shit fucking people like Mark Robinson. Does Jaden Stevenson's stunning 65-metre torpedo goal against St Kilda in round 9 have an asterisk in the wake of his betting indiscretion? Well, does every fucking Essendon win during the doping scandal have an asterisk next to it now?
No.
Where the fuck do you look in the results and ever see asterisks next to any goals or behinds or anything?
Question that one.
It's
quick to the betting mobile.
It's seriously, how does his fucking... Alright, let's just say Stevenson had to kick that goal to make his multi, which he didn't because, as they said, none of his bets came out. How does it fucking affect that kick anyway? It didn't actually influence his kick. It didn't give him superpower in his leg. It didn't fucking make everyone fall out of the way. He still had to fucking kick it. Why would you put an asterisk on that? That is seriously just shit raking from somebody who I expect is just a shit person to actually attack someone in the wake of his penalty. Immediately after his penalty, go, I'll just fucking rub some salt into it here and go, yeah, well, you kicked a nice 65-metre goal, but I'm now going to put an asterisk next to it because it's Collingwood.
I should point out that Mark Robinson is allegedly a shit person. Just in case.
You're right, he's allegedly. I apologise.
Unreservedly.
Yeah, unreservedly.
Until next time.
Fuck. Ash Brown's top 25 players of the year.
Ash Brown?
Ash Brown. He had 4 Collingwood players in the top 25. Grundy at 5.
Fair.
De Goey at 9.
Fair.
Pendlebury at 14.
Yeah.
Darcy Moore at 24.
Fair.
I would have thought, other than Grundy, those 3 are a little bit flattering.
No, I think in their own little way they've motoring along nicely.
Since we've ranted about Stevenson for about 2 weeks, we'll cut me in the Fiddick a little bit shorter than usual.
Was there anything else to talk about?
Yeah, well, there's always something to talk
Nah,
about.
fuck it, we'll do it next week.
Yep. Any final thoughts?
Bet easy and bet responsible or something. Should we put some betting propaganda up on the screens?
Yes, and remember, if your team's leading at quarter time,
hit someone!
You're not a Carlton supporter.
Oh, sorry, I just thought that something of a lesser crime than betting would be better to
Murder.
to hit someone. Well, murder it probably is.
Well, fucking in the state of Victoria, you get away with things.
Especially if the AFL's getting money for it.
Allegedly.
We don't know because we don't work for the AFL.
Alright, hang on, we'll be back with the match preview.
Oh, this should be good. Have we got any time left?
No.
Alright. Pies by 4 points.
So we're back with the match preview and we're very sedate now.
Oh, good. We've calmed down a bit. We've
people-
placed a few bets.
Yeah, people would think
Normality has been resumed.
people would think that we probably just went outside and snorted some cocaine or something. That would be apt.
I went next door and whacked the bloke for having the volume up too loud in his TV. Just because I know that I'll only get 8 weeks for that.
I whacked the TV because it had Mark Robinson on it.
Allegedly.
Alright, so how's the calf injury?
Yeah, it's not bad. I think I'll be good. I'm seated, but a few weeks rest, I'll be all right. We're not talking about me though, are we?
How is a calf injury? I say it's about 2 weeks.
So he's gone for the rest of the year?
Probably. I saw the report on it. It looks more like a baby cow.
It's a yearling injury. Well, apparently it's not the troublesome one from last year. This sounds a little bit familiar, like someone else. The tear is somewhere else, like somebody else's tear. And he'll be back within 2-3 years. So, yep, all good.
So, from the Collingwood website, Dacos, regular performer, finished with 16 disposals on...
Peter Dacos.
Josh Dacos. On our win over Footscray. He only played half the game, though.
Yeah, that was obviously taken off as the precautionary sub for Sunday's game.
Because Collingwood obviously get injured before games. Isaac Quainer, he racked up 20-1 disposals.
20-1?
20-21 disposals. 4
Did he get his money back?
A goal in the VFL Pies win. Among the contenders to replace star defender Jeremy Howe. Matt Scharenberg been in great touch since returning. He's had 2.5 games. He finished with 33 disposals and 16 marks.
I've heard enough. Get him back.
Ben Crocker, solid performer.
No, that's
named
not
one of the Pies' best. Finished with 13 disposals, 4 tackles and 2 behinds. You got to get him in. 2 behinds.
No.
We kicked 13-4. How are we going to solve that? And Max Lynch, because obviously we need more tall players in the side. Among the emergencies at the AFL match against the Bulldogs, the athletic big man pushed his case by tallying 13 disposals. He tallied them.
So he tallied them.
Are they his disposals or someone else?
No, he just counted them. That's how you get your. That's how you win multis.
Yep.
So he's no idiot. He doesn't second guess how many possessions his teammates get. He tallies them.
18 hit outs and the goal in the
goal of the year.
Everyone mentions that it was like against the Pies' victory over Footscray. Who do you bring in to replace Howie?
Jeez, I'm seriously tempted after his 3 or 4 weeks of looking superb.
He's played 2.5.
His 2.5 weeks of looking superb as I'd bring Berg back in.
Yep.
I think it's worth rolling the dice on it. It gets him some good games at a senior level, leading up to finals. If the knee goes at this stage after doing 3, you've really got to think that that's more likelihood to happen again. So you might as well just say fuck it and get him out there and see what's going to happen. Because who else can you bring in apart from Goldsack?
Quaynor is probably the other one.
Yeah, how big's Quaynor though? Isn't he more of a mid-sized rebounding defender?
Yeah, I don't know how they plan to match up against. I don't know who's North got up forward other than Ben Brown.
I know they got
Doug Wade.
Schimmelbusch. He's out there, isn't he?
He's on the wing.
Yeah. Keith Gregg, is he still good?
No, I don't think he's playing.
What about
Dempsey? No,
what about
he's out. He's out. You know what's really good is like about all North Melbourne. I can't speak. North Melbourne players I know. Wayne Carey.
All I could see was Scanlon's footy cards in my head.
Xavier Tanner. I used to get him fucking a lot. He was the most popular card I'd get.
You couldn't even throw him away.
I could if I played someone in Flicks. Oh, sorry, I was gambling at school. Sorry, they should probably throw me out. I did not bet on the outcome. Who would you bring in for Howie?
I'd be leaning towards Berg at this stage.
Or would you bring in Josh Dacos and shuffle players around?
Well, that is a possibility because one of those tools could go down back. Mio's spending a fair bit of time up back lately, so that would be a possibility. Langdon's supposedly tracking nicely too, so
I'll be back in 2020.
No, that's it. But he obviously won't be ready this weekend. But I suppose there are a couple there waiting in the wings. So do you go like for like type players, or do you wait for those ones to come back, or do you do the Lido shuffle this week and, as you said, bring Dakes in? I'd like to see Dakes get a little bit of a run at it.
I'm actually surprised Dacos still hasn't come in.
Probably at the expense of Josh Thomas, still.
Yeah. My one concern of bringing Scharenberg in, I agree, if it's going to go, it's probably just going to go, but playing at Etihad, which is the hard surface.
How many more times we play there this year? I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. But then it's like the next month. So you're playing at Etihad.
Then you're travelling.
Then you're playing Hawthorn. Then you're travelling 2 weeks in a row.
Are we got Crows the following week or Hawks next week?
It's Hawks, I think, the week after, and then North. And I think it's like West Coast and Giants. So it's just that.
Well, he ain't going to do his knee getting off the plane, is he?
It's just that hard run of games, travelling and shit like that. Do you bring him back after that? Do you get him more match fit and shit?
It's just toughen him up.
I don't know. I mean, kudos to...
I'd get Tonya Harding in to smack a piece of wood over his kneecap a few times to see whether he's ready. Kudos
to AFL.
Now you love them.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed playing Bulldogs a second time before we've played fucking North, Hawthorn, Adelaide, West Coast, GWS.
How does it work?
I played West Coast, sorry.
It's not a compromised draw or anything, is it?
No. Beautiful running of the competition. But you know what? Crowds are up.
Are they? And so is revenue from all the betting.
Yeah, that's why the crowds come to bet.
That's it. That's all I go for.
We're playing a game this week, aren't we?
We're playing Nuff Melbourne.
And they've been in some nothing form.
Well, they've had their moment in the sun with the new coach. Surely they drop back to being shit now, don't they? Surely?
They've been pretty spirited in their losses against better teams, but I don't know where the fuck we fit anymore.
No, they play Etihad pretty well too.
Pretty well. They quell the hell out of
it. Look, I think it might be a bit of a challenge.
On
our present form, unless we have this massive look at ourselves in the mirror, a few days looking in the mirror, and we could come good.
You really
I'd
believe
like
that?
to believe that.
You really
I'd really like to believe that.
You want to bet?
Do I get my money back if they lose?
Just fucking Collingwood, just improve your systems. That's not working. And I don't want to bloody hear, oh, that's not the brand we want to play. The players are down on themselves and all that sort of shit. It's actually been happening for quite a while. You need to work out what got you into a grand final last year, which is fucking run and carry, not chipping around. I understand there's a time to chip, but you're getting pushed into that too often. If we can just bloody play a bit of a running game, I think we'll beat North by 41 points.
This is still the absurdity of all that we're one win
Second.
away from top spot. It's ridiculous. That
Can you imagine what the 2011 side would have done?
Can you imagine if we're doing this show and we were down the arse end of the ladder? Would explode. I mean, you talked for 20 minutes before and didn't draw one breath.
It's a kind of magic. So what was your tip?
Pies in a narrow one. Have you heard this one before? I actually think if we're serious this week, we'll come out and win by 68 points.
Oh, that's a good tip.
We'll go absolute 8 droppings for 4 quarters, put together the most dominant display you ever seen, put all our fears to rest, and never win a game for the rest of the year.
I'm trying to think of Collingwood North players who've played for both sides.
Lee Brown.
Oh, there you go. Playing for the Lee Brown Cup.
The Lee Brown Cup. 2 girls, 1 Lee Brown Cup.
I can't think of any of Marley Williams.
Shimmerbush?
He didn't play for Collingwood.
No.
And Bruce Abernathy in the 80s.
When I used to watch the big replay on TV and Collingwood and North played, it was hard to tell on the old black and white set.
Well, you must have been happy about the 77 grand final then.
Never.
Anyway, that's it for us. If you like us losing our shit, subscribe.
That was pretty sedate though, in the scheme of things. It's
Yeah.
been bigger rants.
It was lucky there was a week break, because this could have been really ugly.
It was a week break.
It was a week break. Collingwood proved it. Yep, subscribe, leave comments here. Listen to us on fucking iTunes, Spotify, rate us.
Fucking iTunes and Spotify. Go
It's good.
on fucking iTunes.
I just got the fucking Apple.
It should be you just rename your app if it's not called fucking iTunes.
Yep, so is there anything else?
No, I think we're on
Subscribe,
fucking
like.
Google next week.
Share us with your friends.
Probably the Swedish ones. Did I do that gag once before?
I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Preferably the Norwegian friends, the ones from the bikini team.
Oh, okay.
It's a sexist day joke about that people don't find fun anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what we're on about.
It's probably safe to play that card.
Did you say it's probably Henry Shea to play that card? I don't know what the fuck. It's just, I've lost it.
Fuzzy was a woman.
We'll be back next week, hopefully, with some Mogadon and Xanax and cocaine. Or not cocaine, icing sugar.
Yeah, well, anyway, we should probably stop recording now so we can go outside and punch the living shit out of each other.
I'm going to put money on that.
Something socially acceptable.
Yeah. And then you know what we should do? We should buy a football club and tank while we're feeding in...
Performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, allegedly.
Allegedly perform at...
Could have been nitroglycerin for all we knew.
Well, that would have cleared congestion. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for watching, listening, or turning us off.
Later.